Welcome to Daddy and the Boys Storytime. Settle in, snuggle close, and enjoy this gentle story together. Milly the Kitten and the Moonlight Meow. Milly was not like the other kittens in her litter. While her brothers and sisters wrestled and tumbled in the hayloft, Milly would sneak away to the windowsill and stare up at the moon. She was soft and stripy, with whiskers longer than her paws, and she had one big question stuck in her furry little head. Where does the moon go during the day? No one in the barn had an answer. Not the rooster, he was too busy shouting. Not the cows, they just chewed and blinked. And not old barn cat, who just yawned and said, "Ask me after my fifth nap." So one night, when the moon was big and glowing like a silver pancake, Milly made a decision. She would follow it. She squeezed through a gap in the barn wall, tiptoed across the crunchy straw, and slipped out into the night. The moon winked down at her, and Milly gave a determined little meow. "Wait for me." She padded through the garden, under the pumpkin vines, and out past the fence. She followed the moon's light down a lane, through tall grass, and over a log that smelled very suspiciously of raccoons. After a while, Milly reached a small hill and climbed to the top. There, sitting on a rock with a telescope and a thermos of warm milk, was an owl in pajamas. "Evening," said the owl without turning around. "Name's Mr. Toot, stargazer, moon mapper, collector of sparkly things." Milly blinked. "I'm Milly. I'm following the moon. Do you know where it sleeps during the day?" Mr. Toot lowered his telescope and turned to her with a slow blink. "Now that's a big question for a little kitten." "I'm very determined," said Milly with a firm flick of her tail. "Well then," said Mr. Toot, standing up, "we'd better find someone who knows." And so, the kitten and the owl wandered on. They met a mole who drew pictures in the dirt with his nose. "The moon is a dream that forgot to go to bed," he said mysteriously. They chatted with a group of frogs who thought the moon was a jelly bean stuck in the sky. They even passed a hedgehog orchestra playing lullabies on tiny leaf harps, but no one really knew. Finally, as the sky started to turn pale pink and the first birds yawned into morning, Milly sat down with a sigh. "I guess I'll never find out." The moon was fading now, slipping lower and lower behind the hills. Mr. Toot looked at her kindly. "Sometimes," he said, "the best mysteries aren't meant to be solved. They're meant to be followed, wondered about and loved." Milly watched the last sliver of moon disappear behind the trees. She felt a soft warmth in her chest, not the answer she wanted, but something just as nice. She yawned. Mr. Toot lifted her gently onto his back and flapped his wings. "Time to get you home, little moon chaser." Back in the barn, her siblings were still snoring in a pile. Milly curled up beside them, the smell of grass and stars still clinging to her fur. She didn't know where the moon went, but she had followed it, and that was enough. Thanks for listening to Daddy and the Boys Storytime. Don't forget to subscribe for more gentle stories every week. Sweet dreams, little one. Twilight.